Okay, so divination. There's a lot of different kinds of divination. Um, so first of all, tarot. Tarot is cool. I don't know, like if it started out from, say, the from Egypt, as if the cards came from Egypt. There's one occultist from France that claimed that they were based on an old Egyptian system. I think a lot of the things we have in the occult now go way back. I think it hardly matters. I mean, certainly divination was done with runes and things of that nature in the past. So I think sort of upgrading that to cards isn't such a stretch. I'm not sure if tarot at one point was like playing cards, and then eventually like there became some and like it became more popular in common society to do like tarot readings and different occult things. I think that this actually trickled down from high society people that would do it like secretly down to like the common people. Like for example, the Ars Goetia even was a book that was printed commonly, and people just had it, like regular common people, and that's why it's famous today. Apparently, like Picatrix as a grimoire is more like something high society people would actually use. Um, that's what I've heard, anyways, about that sort of thing. So, like tools of divination or something that gets a little bit the history of like the especially tarot, the most famous one or the most common one. It's a little bit sticky, but there's some debate about things in the occult of what's old and what's not and whatever. So, tarot is a really effective. Um, it's a really effective symbology that is sort of okay. You can shuffle the cards and pull something out semi-randomly, but it kind of combines astrology, Kabbalah, um, and into these images that are just kind of a slice of something, some consciousness. Like you can look at the card and someone's sad on it or someone's happy or whatever. And I think that's fairly effective. I think it provides a rich enough symbology that practically any message can come through. That's more moral. You know, some people will say like it's perfect. It's a perfect system. Lon Milo Duquette says that it's perfect. Specifically, is who I'm thinking of. Um, I think I think a lot of people put their interest and their attention into these systems and developing them over time, and they become very rich. To me, I think saying they're perfect is a bit far. I think I would say nothing's perfect. I think thinking of things as being perfect is harmful, actually. Like you shouldn't think about perfection. You should think about like kaizen, like improvement. Because if something's perfect, then it's inert, and that's in my mind, I think that's a negative thing. I think nothing is really that fixed. Um, yeah, as far as using tarot cards, they're great for developing your intuition and communication with like, let's say, the spirit world or with non-physical beings or something. Um, like some people will do deity work, and they'll pray to various demons, and they'll use tarot cards to get the message. It's pretty cool. I think it works. I think it's an accurate way to do it, or it's an effective way to do it. I do it sometimes. So it is more powerful when you connect it to some being, and it's a direct communication in that way. It's also a little easier than just communicating them, like say telepathically, because sometimes what they would tell you would be difficult to interpret. But sometimes if you have the card, it can become, the communication with them can be a months long meditation on the card. So like for example, I got Eight of Swords or Eight of Wands a bunch, and Eight of Wands represent, it's like the picture on it is like eight wands flying through the air, as if it kind of gives me the imagery as if a bunch of arrows shot from a bow at once, but they're not arrows, they're just staffs. And I kept getting this, and it's always like something's imminent, and but nothing would ever happen. And I came to realize, because I kept getting this card, this is what will happen in tarot, is you'll, when you do readings for yourself, the same few cards will pop up constantly, and they'll just keep popping up until you get the message of what's being told to you through the card. And eventually you'll probably figure it out, you know. Like with the Eight of Wands, what it was trying to tell me is like there's a lot of energy in my life that's like built up on something. Like there's something that um as if I'm very close to some manifestation or whatever, but there's just needs to be some change of mindset or something, and then the thing will happen. And so it took me forever to realize that that's at least that's sort of like the Eight of Wands, the way it expresses itself to me. And there's a lot of variation. I think there's a lot of intuition involved. The more I'm into like astrology and tarot cards and things like that, the more I lean into intuition over the meaning of the classical meaning of the card, or even the classical meaning of the planets and stuff. Like the more I lean into my intuition to interpret these things, the more powerful it gets. And I think you want, whenever you do anything with divination, you want to sort of feel something behind it. Like you drew a card, but there's a message behind it. There's an image behind it that's not the card, that's not the rune, that's not the coffee reading, tea leaf reading, whatever it happens to be. And if you can grab on to that thing behind it, it can become a lot more powerful. So I think in that way, any kind of divination becomes really nice for developing that insight. That intuition isn't even really the right word. It's more of like spirit, like this astral sense of it, almost this telepathic capacity. I see that I get that a lot more now than when I started, which I think is a good sign that I've grown with it. So moving on from tarot, I think the next thing I'll just mention briefly is Ouija boards. I hear people having bad results with Ouija boards the most, because Ouija boards, the intention is directly to connect with something, and it's mostly connected to ghosts. The thing is, if you talk to ghosts too much, they'll get into your energy body, and they'll just they can make your life pretty yeah, they can mess with your life. And most of the time, if you don't have any particular like spiritual system, you don't have, there's not like a daemon in particular that you're working with or whatever, mostly ghosts are going to be a harmful thing for you. So I mean, they're hungry most of the time. Even in ghosts that are fairly benevolent still are needing some kind of life force, and they'll even unintentionally take it from you. So seances are also terrible, which I think often use Ouija boards. Terrible. It just brings in so much miasma, and of course ghosts, which is not what you want. And it's most likely not the family member that you wanted to talk to, or the famous person you wanted to talk to. You know, the thing is, theoretically, you could access their energy body that they left, because when you die, there's also an energy corpse, because there's layers of the energy body. So it's like some of the energy body is still there. Theoretically, I suppose you could tap into their energy body that's left over, the energy corpse, and get some information out of it. I think that is possible, but like once again, like you're interfacing with a dead thing. Why would you do that? I mean, if you want to go full on into necromancy, then whatever. But necromancy is one of the older magics too, so it's yeah. There's some. I would say that Ouija boards are most often related to like necromancy, literally speaking to the dead. That being said, Ouija boards could be used positively. I think it's just what they're usually used for. They can also maybe be an interesting tool that has a different sort of different possibilities with it than tarot cards, because you're getting like whole words out, and maybe that can be helpful in some way. Next, coffee, like coffee grounds reading. You drink the whole cup of coffee, you put it down on a plate, um, so that the coffee grounds sort of come off of the the bottom of the cup and drip down with the remaining water, and it'll make a shape. And you can look at the shape, and there's certain, like, you can look online and get like certain uh what is it? There's like a symbology to it. I just look at it intuitively, and that's actually been really additive. You know, a really good added thing to tarot cards, because then I can get an image, and then that image can I can do a tarot reading later on what I saw in the coffee grounds, and it can be more of a complete picture and give a nice frame of reference for the what's in the cards. Because I think the cards, you kind of will see the same messages if you use tarot a lot and you're not really open to spirits. Because this is one of the hazards with tarot, is that you some people are so open to spirits and listening to spirits. I think that's a bit harmful. Or if you do that, you probably shouldn't do other magics that much, because like, yeah, I won't get into all that sort of thing, but yeah. So I think coffee grounds can add like a picture. Like I also would use stable diffusion for divination sometimes, and it was incredibly it, it really intuits a lot, and it's really cool in that way. So maybe as far as like pure divination, maybe it wasn't great, but I did see some cool results with it. Stable diffusion, though, I don't like Midjourney. I think Midjourney makes everyone have these insane smiles that just, it almost reminds me of like the music video Black Hole Sun, the music video of it, where all the people were like super freaky, and I find Midjourney really freaky. But Stable Diffusion has this very like it's it makes pictures, and there's a feeling behind it. And I remember when I was on Night Cafe, it's like a social media for AI art. I would post pictures that would have like 6 fingers, 7 fingers, body parts fading off into the background, but you could just see in the face there was a, what's the word, it had a vibe, and I would get all kinds of like likes and stuff, so that was cool, you know. And it can be kind of difficult to get likes on those platforms, but yeah, I think I'm saying that stable diffusion, especially like the regular stable diffusion model, has some kind of occult divinatory value. And maybe I'll talk about it more in another video, but it's pretty cool. I wanted to mention stable diffusion for sure. I've not done tea leaves. I know some people that have some success with runes, that do runes, and they really like runes. We have some runes, but I haven't really like haven't messed with them too much. I think they're cool, you know. I'm not familiar with them that much. And then this isn't as much divination, but I'll mention scrying again. Like if you want to know something, you can do scrying, like look into a black bowl or like a crystal ball and see it. Actually, like a crystal ball isn't the best for it. You want to look at something like purely black. And if it's like obsidian or something, that's even better. I know of one sorcerer who has an obsidian ball. He says you have to be careful with it because something can look back. So he pretty much has a palantir. it's amazing. But yeah, this is also something I would say with most forms of divination, before you go to pure, unless you go to pure scrying, most forms of divination aren't building such a direct form of contact, and they're very low energy. Like it takes very little of your life force to do it. Um, so that makes them really excellent options for like if you have some question in life or you want to know how to advance yourself. You can use these practices, and they can really enhance sort of your journey of consciousness. Um, certainly you don't want to do divination too much. You don't want to, if you have some burning question, I think it's really up to you to sit back and meditate and look and do some real inner work, which can be hard. But I think if you just are at a crossroads where um you have two options and you're just not really sure, and it's not such an agonizing thing, tarot cards can be helpful. I would say usually tarot cards would tell you the truth anyways, but I think your ability to listen and receive the answer you need to receive can be kind of low if there's some kind of if you're agonizing over the question somehow.